Why does Twisters exist? And when I say that, it's a genuine question. Who has been asking for a just Twister sequel or a reboot or whatever this is? That's the only thing I kept thinking about when I was watching this in the theater was like, why is this made? What's the point of this even existing? The story is damn near goofy at best. Like, this is a goofy ass movie to watch. The story has practically no progress at all because there practically is no story. There's no real reason for anybody to be doing what they're doing. The characters are thin as hell. I don't even really care about who our characters are. Our main character girl, I don't care about her name right now. I'm pretty sure they said her name 100 times throughout this movie, but that's just how boring. I could look up all these things, but I really want you to understand how forgettable and unnecessary this movie is. So I don't care about doing research for it. We're drawing off the brain, and maybe that make it a little bit more funny. I can't even tell you the actress name, I'm just gonna call her Main Twister Girl. Main Twister Girl. You guys like that? We're gonna go with Main Twister Girl. Her friends die at the beginning of this movie. Every one of them. Even Kira Simpkin, very popular actor. She's probably the most recognizable actor in this movie, right next to the guy that's in everything. That was in Transformers: Rise of the Beast, and Glenn Powell. She's like it has to be the third most or second most recognizable face in this movie. So I thought for sure she would survive. She's just straight up killed. To a certain extent, I respected it when it happened. At first I thought she was McKenna Grace, but then I realized that's not McKenna Grace. Her and McKenna Grace just always look the same whenever they're doing things, but they're not the same people. They're actually different. Fun fact. So Main Twister girlfriends all die at the beginning of this movie. It flash forwards us 5 years in the future. She's a meteorologist. She's working at a news weather place, help predicting and helping out about these storms. Hey, Main Twister girl, how these storms looking? You think these storms are anything that we should be worried about? And she just comes in, she steps in. Oh, you good? Ain't nobody. You straight. Keep it moving. And she gets recruited by one of the friends that survived. Transformer guy. She gets recruited by him. He went from being recruited by G.I. Joe to being G.I. Joe recruiting. And that's what the point. I didn't like the structure of this movie. Like, no, we need to bring her in. Like, this movie is kind of structured like a superhero film. Friends die at the beginning, or family, or some sort of tragedy happens at the beginning. Our hero is down on their luck. Not in the thick of things anymore, and then someone recruits them to get back in the field, and as the movie goes on, they gain their power back, their sense of self, their bravery, and they save the day, except for an evil being with ill intentions. It's a unthoughtful piece of weather that exists no matter what. It's not even like the whole world is at stake anything. It's like Oklahoma is being terrorized by tornadoes, but Oklahoma knows what the fuck a tornado is at this point. Like, we get it, I didn't know that Oklahoma goes through this. I didn't know Oklahoma had a tornado season where I guess it's like 30 days and 30 nights, but except for with a tornado where they just have to suffer and survive through like multiple days to a month of tornadoes just destroying all of Oklahoma. If that's not true, if you're an Oklahoman, like I've seen some tornadoes, but they don't happen for that long. Let me know in the comments if y'all dealing with that. And the next thing you know, Glenn Powell comes in this movie. I gotta say, Glenn Powell was actually the best part of this movie. He's actually fun. Him and his crackpot team, and they introduced them as hillbillies. I was like, oh my god, they're done DEI the hillbillies. I don't want a diversity, inclusive, and diversity, inclusion, and integrity. I don't know. I'm going to say integrity right now. Diversity, inclusion, and integrity group of hillbillies. I want my hillbillies white. I want some Duck Dynasty ass niggas fighting tornadoes. Not some hippies that with a country twang. That's not even hillbillies. That's a hipster that came from Texas or something. That's like Austin. I want some true grit blue hillbillies. They may scare a nigga or two. That's my type of hillbillies. If I'm seeing hillbillies, that I only want those type of hillbillies, not these beautiful hillbillies and perfectly diverse hillbillies. You got a goddamn, you got a lesbian, you got a light skinned black woman, you got a darker black man, older black man, you got a Latino boy, and then you got Glenn Powell. So you got every piece of the spectrum of person here. But I'm just saying, that's not hillbillies. Even in the movie, they question how you guys know all these. How do you guys all know each other? Like, where did you guys meet? I guess they met on the internet. Which, if that's the case, that works. But just don't call them hillbillies. Call them redditors. So they got to get close to the tornadoes and put up all these things down that will collect data for the tornadoes. Obviously, she has some PTSD. All her friends were killed in a tornado. So post tornado stress disorder she's dealing with. So that becomes a big part of the movie. And then once she meets Glenn Powell, I guess Glenn Powell just like charismatically takes the traumaticness out of her. So no worries there after that. Anthony Ramos, is that his name? Ramos. Anthony Ramos. I think that's the Transformer guy. He's in love with the girl, right? He's in love with her. But here's the thing. She likes Glenn Powell because Glenn Powell, I'm not gonna lie, he's a good looking guy, you know, he's tall, he's very charismatic, very confident. Like I said, he's the best part of this whole goddamn movie. I will give it to Glenn Powell. Every time he's on screen, you're really invested or you're really intrigued or you're entertained at the most. I don't know about invested or intrigued, but you're entertained when he's on the screen. Because he's just entertaining. They give his characters some great lines, not anything memorable that I'm gonna recite here, but some things you will laugh at, and it very much stands out because everybody else's character's dialogue is pretty bad and atrocious. And I know it's not the actors because I've seen every one of these actors in other movies be good in those movies. So I know it's not them. It's the direction and it's the screenwriting. And both of those are bad because these characters are really bad. How they handle them and how they bring them into the story is pretty bad. The tornado is the bad guy technically, like it's the thing that we're trying to solve and beat. But the thing is, it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, you don't have to be in Oklahoma. Like you guys are chasing the tornadoes. Like just just leave. You can't just go. Why? Like it's very hard for me to connect with characters that actively jump into battle and into danger that is not like an evil person. Like this is just part of the weather. This comes with Earth, nigga. Either leave Earth or let the tornado do what it came here to do. Like, stop messing with the bitch. And for a big portion of this movie, I didn't think it was bad. I just thought it was very boring. Like, it was just extremely boring to watch. When I knew I was like, the writing here is not that good is when they had this tornado kill so many innocent people. Like, I mean, this tornado was wiping. Nigga, if you were an innocent person, it was wiping you the fuck out. If you was just a guy just trying to do their job, or a person just living in their lives, oh yeah, they wiping you out. They'll take you out. They'll kill you. Now, if you're an antagonist or a bad guy or kind of scammy or sneaky or don't care about humanity, I guess they won't take you out because David Cormet, the new Superman, he's in here. I didn't even know he was in here. He's pretty good in it for all intents and purposes. He's not in it that much, but he becomes one of the bad guys or part of the bad guys thing, and he at the end he goes, I don't care about the people, fuck people. And I'm like, oh. Anthony Ramos kicks him out the car while the tornado's coming and nothing happens to him. They just let him go. I'm like, oh, okay. So usually in a movie like this, you create an antagonist, you make him a little asshole-ish. You know, he has a little bit of tension with some of the people. And then once he goes full on asshole mode, he gets his comeuppance by getting sucked into a gigantic tornado. Nope, they just the only thing that happens to him is that he gets mud on him and they leave him. I guess you could say he got sucked up by the tornado, but they didn't show it, and I wish they would have. It would have been cool because after this, once again, they show two more people, two more innocent people. They just show two more innocent people just get sucked up into a tornado. It's like, okay, so okay, I get you. You just want, extras gotta, you don't want to pay the extras, but maybe David Cormack couldn't film his part because James Gunn was like, hey, get your ass in the gym. We need that Superman to be looking big as hell, and which he does. So they was like, hey man, I got a gym session. James Gunn's paying me more, so yeah, I'm not coming back. And he just hung up, and he was never seen again. At least on that set. Obviously, you can go see him in Superman next year, of course, or in Pearl, but he was definitely off this set for sure. Then the movie just kind of ends. They really try to tease you in the trailers that they're gonna be fighting two twisters. Like, oh my god, it's like a combination of two twisters coming together that is so devastating. And is that they're gonna be fighting against fire twisters. That fire twister only lasts for about like 2 minutes of screen time, and it's not all that insane. It literally just happens. Fire twister, and then it goes away. And you're like, oh my god, I really wanted that twister that was on fire to continue. Why is it leaving? But it's gone now. The fire twister's no longer existing here. Bye bye, fire twister. You're like, what? I wanted the fire twister. I wanted the double twin twisters. You took everything from me. It's just boring. It's bad, actually. It fucking sucks. I'm gonna say that. I don't see any love or passion in the filmmaking. The characters are flat. There's nothing really intriguing going on here. And the tornadoes suck ass because they're just windy. They're just fucking tornadoes. You can't do much with tornadoes. And when they did try to do creative shit with the tornadoes, they didn't even do nothing creative with them. They just put them on fire for like 3 seconds and then left. So in summary, this movie sucks. I don't like it.